Imagine being able to step into the world of Hyrule like never before, fully immersed in virtual reality. It sounds like a dream, but did you know that one of the greatest video games ever made, The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, can actually be played in VR right now? But here's where it gets controversial. The experience is far from perfect, and many gamers might find it underwhelming compared to modern VR standards. Back in 2019, a clever workaround allowed players to enjoy Breath of the Wild in VR by simply placing the original Nintendo Switch inside a cardboard VR headset, Nintendo's Labo VR kit, and holding it up to their face. This setup runs the game at a modest 30 frames per second, and with a resolution even lower than the Oculus DK2, an early VR headset from years ago. Jamie Feltham from Upload VR gave this VR mode a 3 out of 10, saying, "I didn't think Nintendo would ever be able to get Breath of the Wild running in VR. So I guess credit where it's due. You can play all of this modern masterpiece with Labo VR stuck to your face if you so choose. To do so, though, would be a crime to the good people of Hyrule." The Labo VR kit was Nintendo's innovative attempt to bring immersive VR to the Switch using cardboard and simple lenses. It wasn't just about Zelda. The kit included several mini-games that creatively used the limited motion tracking of the Joy-Cons to deliver unique VR experiences. In fact, Jamie rated some of these mini-games higher than Breath of the Wild's VR mode, highlighting how inventive gameplay can sometimes outweigh technical limitations. Now, with the upcoming release of the Nintendo Switch 2, many fans are wondering, could Breath of the Wild's VR mode make a comeback on this new console? Unfortunately, the original Labo VR headset won't fit the Switch 2, which means it's incompatible out of the box. But here's the exciting part. Nintendo is launching a new $25 cardboard Virtual Boy accessory designed specifically for the Switch 2. This accessory appears to use lenses very similar, if not identical, to those in the Labo VR kit. This raises a fascinating question. Could this new Virtual Boy accessory enable Breath of the Wild to be played in VR on the Switch 2? There are some technical hurdles to consider. For example, the Switch 2's screen size differs slightly from the original Switch and the OLED model, which already required some adjustments to the VR display. While the OLED Switch reduces the size of the rendered images for each eye to fit the screen, the Switch 2 doesn't seem to do this yet. However, since the OLED model managed this with a simple software tweak, it's reasonable to believe Nintendo could update the Switch 2 software to support VR gameplay. If this happens, the Switch 2's more powerful GPU at its 1080p display could deliver a much sharper and smoother VR experience than what was possible on the original Switch. Imagine exploring Hyrule in VR with better graphics and performance. This could be a game changer for Nintendo fans. And Breath of the Wild isn't the only title that could benefit. Other beloved Nintendo games like Super Smash Bros. Ultimate and Super Mario Odyssey, which also have VR modes through Labo VR, might look and run even better on the Switch 2. For many Switch owners, spending a few minutes wandering around Hyrule in VR with the Labo kit remains a magical experience, especially if they still have their cardboard headset tucked away somewhere. But the future looks even more promising. In addition to the cardboard Virtual Boy accessory, Nintendo is also releasing a more robust $100 plastic Virtual Boy accessory with a stand. This accessory is designed for both the original Switch and the Switch 2, and will allow subscribers of Nintendo Switch Online plus Expansion Pack to play classic 3D games like Mario's Tennis in a nostalgic Virtual Boy style. Personally, if I get a Switch 2, I'd love to retire my original Switch into that $100 Virtual Boy stand as a tribute to Nintendo's quirky and enduring commitment to VR and 3D gaming, an unexpected journey spanning over 30 years. Meanwhile, I'd keep the $25 cardboard Virtual Boy accessory handy for the Switch 2 to enjoy portable VR experiences. But here's the big question Nintendo fans are asking. Will we ever see Breath of the Wild in full-color VR on the Switch 2, playable with just a cartridge and no subscription required? It's a tantalizing possibility that could redefine how we experience one of Nintendo's most iconic games. What do you think? Would you embrace Zelda in VR on the Switch 2? Or do you believe Nintendo should focus on other innovations? Could this new Virtual Boy accessory be the key to a VR renaissance for Nintendo? Or is it just a nostalgic gimmick? Share your thoughts and join the conversation below.